In 2022, a group of internet misfits started a podcast covering the decline of entertainment. These men and one furry promptly went to a bar and drank some Pepsi. Today, they survive as pop culture commentators of fortune. If you have a woke jackass subverting your expectations, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the War on Pop Culture.
Welcome to the war.
Boy, it's been a while since we've seen that intro, huh?
Quite a while.
Yes. I don't have a Pepsi Man shirt or anything Pepsi for that matter, but here we are. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the War on Pop Culture. This is episode 32. And if in case you guys are wondering, which it's kind of obvious why you would be wondering, Special Agent Carter Sauce cannot join us tonight. He has some family issues that he had to get taken care of. We just want to wish him the best of luck with him and his family. Regardless of that, thank you all for joining us tonight, and we got quite the show, I'd say.
A recap of
yeah.
November.
On top of the fact that we haven't been on War on Pop Culture for a while, once again. You know, busy doing everything else. But here we are making time for War on Pop Culture.
Yeah. The show must go on. And, well, whatever's going on out there, it keeps providing us with some more shit to talk about here in the trenches.
Oh, I don't know where to start. I don't know.
Well, what have we got coming up? Let's see. Disney's creative bankruptcy continues. Sydney Sweeney still's got great genes. Legend of Zelda's getting a movie, and we got a movie we want to talk about. Some really bizarre acquisition just happened, like today. And YouTube algorithm, hey, get this trending. Netflix bought Warner Brothers. All right, we're relevant now. Come on.
Fine, we'll talk about Netflix and Warner Brothers for a few minutes. Look, I'm going to be honest. I haven't looked into it very much. I know. But it is interesting to see what started out as a DVD rental turn one of the biggest streaming giants in the past decade plus.
And now owning a major movie studio. And now people are starting to worry, what does this mean for the future of movie theaters?
I mean, considering the takeover of AI technology, I mean, it's a big question about, what's the future of film in general? You know?
Yeah.
If everybody's making AI generated content, and some of the stuff is quite polished.
Yeah.
Right? You have AI actors, you have the creation of actual robots, full on Terminator stuff. It's like the future is very much almost like a cyberpunk, though I have a feeling that it's not going to be too much of a cyberpunk because we're seeing more just technology taking over everything. Whereas in a cyberpunk world, it's kind of like, I want to say balanced, but you still have human input largely controlling things, which technically still happens because, I mean, look, here's the deal. AI is only limited to the parameters that its creator gives it.
Yeah.
Like, even for the more advanced artificial technology, like, it still needs that human input. I think we're still a ways off from full-blown Skynet. Like, that's still a long ways off. If there is any Skynet, then it is a Skynet that is being leashed on by humans.
And like every bit of power, it could fall into the wrong hands. So don't let your guard down, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Do not let it down. Because
Carter Sauce, Special Agent Carter Sauce, saying hello. Good to see you guys. I want you both to know you're in my thoughts. Hey, buddy, you're in our thoughts.
Mainly to you.
Yes, sir.
You and your grandmother.
So yeah, Netflix buying out Warner Brothers, something I didn't entirely see coming. I mean, this is something that's been rumored about for a little while. I mean, I remember hearing talks about it. I don't remember how recent, but it's there. It was happening. I mean, wasn't it? What was it? Discovery that wanted to buy Warner Brothers initially, or am I getting my things mixed up? Because
no idea.
Discovery is owned by Disney, which means that they would have. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Disney owning both Marvel and DC essentially?
To be honest, yeah, I can.
At this point,
I mean, now, well, that's what it comes off as to me, because those are probably, I mean, it's debatable, are arguably the two biggest streaming services that you've got.
Yeah.
And now they're just, eating up every studio they can get their hands on. And to me, it's a pissing contest between two rival corporations. I mean, personally, I just liked it more where you had what you had your products, you like to take jabs at your competition in commercials like Coke versus Pepsi or McDonald's versus Burger King. It was just friendly competition. Now it's coming full circle. Like, usually we're the consumers. Now those who provide the products for you to consume are trying to consume up every product for ownership. It's a paradox.
It's a monopoly, is what it is.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
it's just the irony in it. It's like they expect us to consume, yet here they are trying to own everything and be in control of everything, especially when it comes to entertainment.
You know what the World Economic Forum said? You will own nothing, and you will like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean that is the path that we're heading down towards, because people they're not very critical of a lot anymore. At least unless they're being told what to be critical of. We're going to get into it when we talk about that movie, because I have to rearrange my rating, especially after watching it for a second time and sitting down by the lake and having a good thinking. Yeah, let's just, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just talk about Predator Badlands. I'm in the mood for some Predator Badlands. So, you guys? Yeah. If you guys have tuned into previous streams and you've heard me talk about Badlands briefly, or even if you follow me on Facebook, I gave Predator Badlands 3.5 stars. To say I was being generous with it is an understatement. Yeah, let's just say after a second viewing, it's no longer 3.5 stars. It's a lot closer to 1 star. 1 star out of 5, 1 out of 10. Yeah, it's bad. It really hit me because I started thinking about some of the plot elements, and when I mean plot elements, I'm talking the first 15 minutes. The first 15 minutes I said were the best of the film, which I would still say is true, but as Danner has made it clear in the past with other comparisons, that's not saying very much.
I mean, yeah.
So let's do a quick little plot summary here. All right, Predator Badlands stars or follows Deck, a runt of the litter predator that wants to prove himself by going to one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy or universe to hunt the most unkillable thing on the planet. And yes, I did use the word unkillable. Sue me. Apparently, this creature is so dangerous and so feared that every predator has feared it, and no predator that has gone up against it has survived. Deck's own father is afraid of said creature. Now, you might think that the movie is building itself up to be quite the showdown. The traditional quote unquote hero story where you get a predator wanting to prove himself, which is a decent enough concept because it's something that you would see in a predator film. Having a sort of POV of the predator wanting to prove itself to become a blooded hunter. This is something that has worked well in the past with other stories, including a very underrated game, at least for its story, Predator Concrete Jungle. Has a great story. Controls, hit or miss, but you'll get invested in the story and you'll get invested in this predator because it actually acts like a predator. But the problems with Badlands start right off the bat. We are told in the film that Deck is a runt, that he brings dishonor to his clan. We later find out, not too much later though, that Deck's brother Quay was actually tasked by their father to kill Deck. This is a problem because in the opening of the film, we see that Deck and Quay are training. They are training while Quay knows that there's basically a mark out on his brother's head. They're still on the Predator homeworld, training. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if my little brother had a mark on his head and our father wanted me to kill him, I wouldn't be on the very same planet that our father is on training my little brother. I would have maybe warned my brother that, hey, our father wants you dead and he wants me to do it. How about we get off this planet and maybe train elsewhere? Leave this planet behind. Go start our own tribe, whatever, right? But that doesn't happen. They train. Then they decide to do a little chit chat on Quay's ship, where Deck chooses the prey he wants to hunt, like it's a video game. You know, cycling through different images of different creatures, including, check this out. Eagle-eyed viewers might have caught this, or maybe not. You have Naru in that selection. She was there. Yes, sir. With her bow drawn. Yeah. Yeah, so apparently she's still captured. Dan Trachtenberg has thrown out a few things about where in the timeline this movie takes place. But apparently, not apparently, I actually watched it. I heard it in an interview. This film takes place many years after Alien Resurrection. Which isn't confirmed in the movie, by the way. And I think the reason is because they probably would write themselves into a bit of a stupid corner. Like, you know, what if you wanted to reference certain events from previous films in the franchise, including the Alien franchise? Like, why would you go for Alien Resurrection? Why not just set this movie after Aliens and forget that Alien 3 and everything else just don't exist? You have a whole world that you could play around in with just that timeline. If you want to bring back Ripley to team up with a Predator, at this point, go for it. What could be worse, right? But regardless of that, shenanigans ensue. Quay gets killed in a very brutal fashion in front of Deck, and Deck takes the ship to his brother's ship to the dangerous planet to hunt the most unkillable creature on said planet. Now, here's the thing. I'm kind of jumping all over the place with as far as the timeline is concerned of this film, but later on in the film, a bunch of Weyland-Yutani synths or synthetics show up, including one led by Elle Fanning, because she plays two characters in this movie for some reason. They excavate the ship, and they find some weapons that were on Deck's ship. Common hunting tools, you could say. Including these little balls, which were giving me some PTSD from The Predator. because of the whole cloaking being in a freaking ball instead of being on, the gauntlet, like we've seen in every other Predator movie up until The Predator. But regardless of that, this ball is a... Oh, yeah. Please.
The usual.
This ball is you could call it the the freeze grenade from Batman Arkham City, if you wanted to. That's the best comparison I could give. This ball is so damn effective against the unkillable monster, the Callisk. It is so effective. It basically one-shots the Callisk and Deck when they're fighting later in the film. Now, there is a problem with this. If so many predators have feared this creature and have died hunting it, but Deck's brother just has this magic ball on the ship, where was this for every other hunt? Did no other predators have these special balls?
Apparently,
I mean,
not.
the cat's out of the bag. That basically breaks the entire film right there. Because Deck decided to not go back to his ship right after he crashed to get the rest of those hunting tools, especially because he lost all his hunting tools to a bunch of trees.
And we ain't talking about the Ents.
You're funny. They're more like tentacle monsters from Japan.
That's right.
Yeah. But that stupidity, the stupidity of the writing, breaks the whole movie. Like right there. Because at that point, well, why didn't any other Predator ever use anything like it? You have it right there on your ship. You literally have to throw it at this creature and it freezes it right in place. Or you could do what Elle Fanning did, get eaten and use it inside the belly of the beast and insta-kills it right there.
How many movies have we gotten where someone allows himself to get eaten to destroy the beast from the inside? Don't they do that in The Ring of Fire or something?
Yeah, it didn't work out too well for Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, at least he tried. I know I haven't actually seen the movie, but I know that happens.
It's quite the movie.
I imagine so.
So that's two big things about the film. The mere fact that, well, actually, I might go back to that first part. We didn't even really finish with that. So if Deck has been considered dishonorable this entire time, if he was looked at for what he was, a runt, why is it that it's taken anybody in Deck's clan this long to kill him? Like, if he was meant to be killed from the beginning, why didn't they kill him when he was a baby? If they knew then and there he was a runt. If they don't care for him to prove himself, if killing the Callisk means nothing to his father and to the clan, what is the whole point of the journey to begin with? What was the point of this entire movie if Deck's father considered him a runt that needed to be killed in the first place? And why didn't he kill him in the first place?
Well, here's a real question when it comes to the father. Why is he so stupidly underdeveloped? Especially when it's like he is really the main villain of this story. When you really think about it. I mean, first is trying to prove himself to him, but then, you know what? Fuck him. I'm going to kill him at the end. Well, you could have at least fleshed him out a little more to make this more narratively satisfying when Deck does return to face his father. But even by the time you get there, it's like, oh yeah, this. Did you remember this? No, I didn't, because this movie is very disjointed and unfocused. Like it's trying to set up the future while still telling a story, albeit a very messy one.
I've heard people say something along the lines of, if you don't look at this movie as a Predator movie, that it's fine enough as it is. But my thing is, if we had to look at this film as anything but the franchise it's supposed to be in, what's the point? Like, how is that a rating in and of itself? Like, why, as we commentators, critics, however you want to title us, why is it that we have to basically put on some blindfolds to pretend that this movie isn't a Predator film? When it doesn't really matter, because guess what? Predator film or not, this film breaks under its own logic. Because even if this wasn't a Predator film, Deck still being a runt and not being killed when he was born is a plot hole. If the whole point was to kill him in the first place, which is why Deck and Quay were fighting in the first place. 2, if these Predators had these freeze grenades this whole time, why didn't any Predator in history use them? Did none of them have it? Did none of them take it with them on a hunt?
That's one of those things that they call a contrivance. Like, make sure that they just, oh yeah, we're gonna have it there, but don't use it until the plot needs them to. But then, like you just said, it falls under its own logic. It collapses. It's like, well, why? It's always one of those cases of you have to not think about it in order to enjoy it and go along with the story. Fuck that. Like, you gotta ground it in reality by, having the plot, make sense. Which it's not.
Yeah. Suffice to say, Predator Badlands is a mess. Deck doesn't even get a proper, satisfying conclusion.
No.
Because the creature he was sent to kill, he headbutts it in a loving manner, bonding with it, as if this is Avatar. That's what it felt like. It felt like Avatar. I saw that very same forehead touching in Avatar. But these are Predators. They're not the Na'vi.
They hunt.
Deck doesn't kill the Kalisk. It's Elle Fanning with the magical freeze grenade. Deck doesn't kill his own father because the next Grogu does it.
Yeah.
By the end of the movie, Deck is surrounded by women because both the Kalisk child and Elle Fanning are female, and he's the only male. But he's a fucking runt. He didn't complete his own hunt, and so, yeah, I know.
It rhymed.
Thank you. So, grab a blunt and blah, blah, blah. The point is the movie sucks. And I was too nice because I kept saying, oh, they could build off of this, which technically they could if they actually made a good Predator film. A Predator-focused story. Not a comedy, not including Elle Fanning. Carter said it right here. Don't get me started on the android. She reminds me of the damn Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz, but that feels like a low blow, except the Scarecrow was lovable.
Yeah, they're not the same. No.
Considering that the moment, the millisecond that she shows up on screen, I knew it was over. I was sitting in the theater, and I heard her talking. I said, oh boy, here we go. And that's what happened. She would not shut up.
It was, granted, I'd never watched it, but I have a feeling that maybe for you have seen it. It was like, great, another Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
More or less. Mainly because, at least with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, she knew when to shut up. She didn't constantly talk throughout the entire movie. As if she was
from what I could see, though, she had a much worse attitude.
She did, but the thing is, I didn't find her as annoying as Elle Fanning in this movie.
Well, this is one of those cases where what's more annoying, the constant talking or just like I said, the bad attitude and the constant belittling of a beloved character. Pick your poison.
Well, in this case, I think I would rather, I'd rather take the annoying attitude over the one who literally doesn't shut the hell up.
But just remember who she's doing it to.
I mean, they're both bad. I'm still saying I would rather watch her than watch Elle Fanning in this case.
Okay. I can't completely agree with that, but okay.
I mean, if you want to, I just want you to imagine that your deck.
I mean, well, you know, I could just go with option C, okay? All right, option C. It's a grappling hook. What'd you think it was?
A taser?
Just saying, option C might help.
Well, option C, you just kick the shit out of Phoebe and call it a day. No, but
I think that's an option.
Yeah. Predator Badlands
is not good.
No. So yeah, in case anybody that usually watches us finds this portion, that's right. I am changing that 3.5 stars out of 5 to 1 star. 1 flipping star because
I feel like that's been a common theme for me this year when it comes to these big blockbusters, except for one I actually walked out admitting that I disliked it, and that was Jurassic World Rebirth, because it was a big pile of dino droppings. Well, somebody say, oh, it was better than the last two. That's not saying much at all. Like, those two are really bad. This one is only slightly better, but it still sucked. But then there's the other movies where I said, yeah, it was okay. I thought I was going to dislike it, like movies like Superman, Fantastic Four, and, well, Badlands. But the more I think about it, the less I care. I wouldn't say hate, but I don't care. Like, I have no desire to see these movies again. None of them have just impressed me, because even if you just take all the narrative stuff that we're all passionate about when it comes to these IPs, I just look at these movies as films and just say, I'm not impressed, because I've seen this happening. I've seen this too many times, and it all feels like factory filmmaking. It's all rinse, wash, repeat. All the modernisms are there. It's just like they don't make them like they used to. Like, they don't. And I'm numb at this point. I wish I wasn't, but I am.
I wish I could say that I was numb, but the thing is, you look at something like with Badlands, you want this franchise to get back to some semblance of glory days, right? Not to like best the original. That's not a standard that we should even sort of be talking about. It's just that have it be good.
Even feasible.
Have it be good. Have it be something that is worthy to be part of the franchise. Something that people can still talk about as the years go along. But with Badlands, it feels like a Marvel movie in many ways. It feels like a botched, like Mandalorian script with Guardians of the Galaxy elements. It's like,
yeah, but again, there's the standards set forth by the people who keep praising the shit out of these movies. Like, you know, it's the best since the greatest one. Like last year with Alien Romulus, saying it was the best one since Aliens. That's really not saying much. I mean, what do you have? What movies does Romulus have to live up to in order to be the best since Aliens? Alien 3, Resurrection, the AVP films, fucking Alien Covenant. That's a pretty low bar. What does Badlands have to live up to? That fucking movie that's on the ground. The bar is too low. I just don't care for that sentiment. Like, It's either it's the best since the original because everything between this and that were pretty bad. Well, as long as it's better than that one that was really shitty, right? No, it's not good enough. You can't just say it's better than bad, so it's good. No, it isn't. It's lackluster at best. You want good, but people aren't demanding good, just serviceable. That is their highest standard at this point. That has become the norm when it comes to audience expectations at this point, and it sickens me. And yeah, and if they don't have that, they have the box office, because the box office is a reflection of the movie's quality. No, it isn't. I don't care what anyone is saying about this movie's box office. It's the highest grossing Predator movie. So what? I mean, you have to take into consideration when adjusted for inflation and all of that. There's just those factors as well. But again, high box office numbers does not mean a good movie. And just keep in mind, going to the Marvel for a minute, just remember, Captain Marvel, that made $1 billion. Do you think it's because people were anticipating Captain Marvel? No. It had the advantage of being sandwiched in between Infinity War and Endgame, when the MCU was at its peak in cultural relevance. Okay. You got something to say? Say it. You got your finger up. You want to chime in, so have at it.
Yeah. Talking about the budget of the film, something that gets conveniently overlooked is the cost for marketing. Like, movies that supposedly either broke even or made their money back and then some.
Yeah.
You have cases where Disney were straight up lying about their budget of the films. Like, this is something that had come out recently about Deadpool and Wolverine, where it was being praised so much for that it made its money back and more, but the budget was a lot higher. Like, I think they were saying it was like 400 million over a like 2 or 300 million budget. So there was a substantial amount of money that had been taken out. And it got to a point where, well, the movie isn't making money because its budget was being fudged, for lack of better terms, and they didn't make their money back because you have to factor in theater costs. You have to factor in any kind of royalties for, music, actors, things like that. I'm not entirely well versed on the economics of it all. That being said, I understand that a movie has to make a lot in order for it to, to beat out its own budget and actually turn a profit. Which is why we praise certain movies, like, for example, Godzilla -1. It had a small budget, all things considered. It made back its money and then some. Now they're marketing for Godzilla -0, which is the sequel. And they want to go big. Like, they want to put it in multiple different markets. So, but Marvel and really Hollywood overall, is, with their budgeting, is insane. Like, they're putting so much money into these films. It's like, man, you could feed a small nation going through starvation and hunger with money like that, and it's like,
and all you're producing is mediocre slop for the masses.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I was watching a video from the Critical Drinker a few weeks ago, and he was talking about The Witcher season 4.
Okay.
The one that doesn't have Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
And he was making a comparison to several different shows that are set within the fantasy world. And the point that he was making was everything looks the same. Like, he brought up 4 different shows. He brought up The Witcher. He brought up Rings of Power, Willow, and I think A Wrinkle in Time, I think. And he just picked random clips from a random episode in these series. And you genuinely can't tell the difference. If you weren't a fan of these particular IPs, you're just like a normie, viewer, coming and watching these things, you couldn't tell the difference because everything looks the same. You want to talk about mediocre slop that's on an assembly line? That is the mark of a very bad creatively bankrupted production. If everything looks the same, if everything feels the same.
Yeah. Where it's all interchangeable with one or the other. When everything is Star Wars, nothing's Star Wars.
I mean, you might as well throw that in with Star Trek, but they have their own woes.
Well, I'm not a Trek fan, so
Me
I can't
either.
really say a whole lot about that.
How about let's throw Doctor Who into that sci-fi mix? Because you could say that Star Wars, Star Trek, and Doctor Who are three of the biggest sci-fi franchises on the market, and every single one of them has turned to garbage.
Yeah.
And it's been done within the past decade plus, which is very hilarious to think about.
Yeah.
Isn't it sad?
It's very sad. And, well, and the oversaturation, too. It's hurt it.
Yeah.
Like, especially Star Wars. Like, yeah, we got a new Star Wars movie coming out in May. Does anyone give a shit? No.
I wasn't even aware that was happening. What is it?
Mandalorian Grogu.
Oh. Oops. Oops.
Hey, but doesn't that just kind of prove my point just a bit? Oh yeah, that's happening. Like, just remember, a new Star Wars movie used to be an event. Like 16 years between Return of the Jedi and The Phantom Menace. Like, yeah, sure, we're still getting Star Wars related stuff, and like not just merchandise, but we got comics, novelizations, and video games. Different mediums to expand the universe or the galaxy far, far away, if you will. But was the common dummy one something that everyone can collectively come together, and that would be the movies because it's the most accessible to the normies, right?
Right.
And something like, hey, we're going to get a trilogy. We're going to get a movie that's going to tell the backstory to Anakin. Sign me up. Like him training with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Sign me up. Like, yeah, even 6-year-old me, I was losing my shit over that. And despite how the reception was for like a decade after the movie's release, and then, people who grew up with those movies became adults, there's a new appreciation for the prequel trilogy. Like, it saw a new lease on life for all intents and purposes. Yeah. But after the trilogy, but even in that run, you're getting more of the other stuff, comics, novels, games, and a plethora of some of the best Star Wars games, mind you. And then Revenge of the Sith came out, and 2005 was probably the greatest year ever for Star Wars. Like, anyone who says otherwise is full of shit. But then... But then after that, we weren't really getting any new movies. So it was just kind of like, I'm kind of starting to miss that shit. Like, is there more they can tell in a movie? Maybe, but time will tell. And then the Disney acquisition happened, which, like, well, what do we do? Well, there's a movie coming out. It's going to be a sequel. All right. People still got hyped for episode 7. But again, there's that 10-year gap. There was still missing, it was just missing the experience. Mm-hmm. Going to Star Wars to see it on the big screen. Like, it was still there. And then the movie comes out, and for the most part, it was positive, and not so much anymore. But then, the very next year, we get a spinoff, and then we get the next sequel, and then another spinoff, and then the next sequel. It's like, okay, they're trying to turn this into Marvel now. And the magic isn't there because, okay, now it's just a yearly event, not something we get every couple of years. And then after those movies wrapped up, we get the oversaturation of D+ shows. And now it's just it's nauseating as hell because it's gone from there's some good stuff in there, but for the most part, the bad outweighs the good. And now people are just sick of Star Wars at this point because it's oversaturated. Not just oversaturated, but there's a lot of slop and all that. And I don't say that word lightly. And don't worry, we're going to talk about one of them in just a hot minute here, ladies and gentlemen. But like, here's the problem with The Mandalorian and Grogu even becoming a movie. Does that sound like a risk? Like, at all? No, it's just like how they're remaking Moana. I'm putting these two together because they're one and the same for me. It is a weird mix of desperation and laziness. Like, they don't know what they could just put out there. It's like, okay, for what can we make for our next Disney movie? What should we remake? Hey, let's do Moana. Didn't we do a sequel? Oh yeah, we did, didn't we? Okay, seriously, did anyone even remember that there was a Moana 2? Because I forgot about that. But 10 years after the first movie came out, it's why? And you see the trailer, and kind of like what we were talking about earlier, it looks like AI. Like, those effects that you were seeing don't look like CG. It looks artificially intelligent. I think this may be their way of trying to move forward with that. But Mandalorian and Grogu, same thing. Lazy. Like, what can we make a movie? How can we bring Star Wars back to the big screen? People like The Mandalorian. I didn't say like. I said liked. I mean, when people did like it. But, I don't know. Let's just make a movie out of that. Yeah, because season 3 was just so well revered. Yeah, let's just make a movie now. And I saw that trailer for the first time when I went and saw Badlands. And I just stared at the screen in awe. Like, wow, this looks like shit. Like, that shot of that walker falling down. What were they thinking? It looks like a PS2 cutscene, for one. Unfinished, unpolished. It's like, oh boy. But, again, this doesn't feel like an event film. Like, it's worse than Solo. It doesn't feel like an event. Because as bad as the sequel trilogy was, there was the fact that there was still that bit of eventfulness for each of them. It was still kind of there. Because it was wrapping up a 3-movie arc. I mean, for better or worse, because fuck those movies. But I could give them that slightest bit of credit. With Mandalorian and Grogu, it's just throw something out there, okay? We'll yeah. And it will sell toys. And don't worry, it will make $2 billion at the box office. No, it won't.
You mentioned about Star Wars being like a spectacle, like an event. Does the Mandalorian and Grogu scream an event?
No, it's just a pre-existing Star Wars story that they only had on Disney Plus, and just decided, hey, let's just throw it out in theaters now. And that, I'm sorry, I need to bring him up again, but that YouTuber, I don't know his name, so don't worry, I can't take a shot at him personally, and I don't give a shit. It's not going to make $2 billion, okay? Like, even if it does somehow turn out to be a box office success, it's not going to be $2 billion. Like, even some of the other clowns out there that like to praise everything Disney Wars, like, you know, some of them are even saying, okay, the mere idea of it making $2 billion is just preposterous, because it is. And the same guy who thinks he's going to make $2 billion, his logic was because, well, Grogu dolls, they've really sell. Who fucking cares about the sales of dolls? If that's all you're looking for, you are the dumb idiot consumer that just likes to have every single Funko Pop covering every square inch of your house. That's going to tell you that's the moneymaker in movies? Fuck that. I don't want us to stoop that fucking low. It's the merchandise comes later, not before, especially when it comes to movies.
It's not feasible as far as like a business making strategy necessarily, because you can't rely on toys to sell a movie.
No.
We've seen this in the past.
It comes afterwards.
Yeah.
Look at Spaceballs. Look at Spaceballs. They make a joke about that. And now we're getting to Spaceballs 2, which if they don't title it The Search for More Money, I'm going to riot. Not The Search for More Money, The Search. Anyway, back to you.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah. Now, the thing about Mandalorian and Grogu, maybe this is just me, but after everything that happened with Gina, things really fell off. And then when we found out that Pedro Pascal isn't even in the costume, it's a body double and he's just doing the voice. It's like, you want to talk about peak laziness? You want to talk about things like a live action remake of a animated film that's barely even a decade old, not even. That is the pinnacle of creative bankruptcy. They literally cannot think of anything else to do other than remake things they've already done. We've seen it with Lilo and Stitch.
And
but at the very
that
least,
made a lot of money.
At the very least, that movie is 20 plus years old. What is Moana's excuse? It's like you said, they just made a sequel last year. And you're doing a remake. You're doing a remake of an animated movie that is still, I mean, it's not in its infancy, but it's still recent. Yeah. What's going to happen next? They're going to do a live action sequel to the sequel? What happens then? Are there going to be two Moana storylines like competing for box office dominance? Like, oh, the animated movie is going to make more than the live action one, even though it's not actually live action necessarily, because you're going to, what? Do they have like CGI, like AI, characters in there?
Probably.
I mean, is it really, because like we can't really call The Lion King a live action because it's like those aren't actual lions. It's just hyper realistic. But it's not real. It's not live.
I guess live action was just the easier term for the common dummy to understand.
I guess if they even care at this point, right?
Well, no, just as long as they got the key jingling nostalgia bait, they're still going for it. They'll fall for it. I mean, look at the money that movie made. Like, that disgusts me. Almost about as much as my dad saying it was a good movie.
I am very sorry.
Oh boy. But yeah.
On the topic of
I don't know.
On the topic of Star Wars, why don't we talk about Leslie Headland, since she decided to creep up from her cave to talk about YouTubers and Nazis and fascists ruining the Acolyte.
Apparently they're all one and the same.
Not because it was a shit story that nobody watched. No, it's not her that's the problem. It's everybody else.
It's the online discourse that said negative things about it, or the quote snake oil salesman. Whoa! Hold your tongue there, Miss Headland. Are you implying that they're all men? How do you know the snake oil sales market isn't a little more inclusive? I mean, come on, give us some credit, okay? I'm pretty sure we're an inclusive club. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Star Wars girl didn't care much for the Acolyte.
What, are you insinuating that we're like Grace Randolph's headcanon about the Avengers Doomsday cast?
Ooh.
That, oh dear God, don't let the majority of the cast be male.
No.
In a male-dominated franchise, Because while all the boys were talking about superheroes, all the jocks and all the ladies were laughing at us for it. Not all the ladies, but you can't sit there and tell me that when you were in school that you didn't have people making fun of you for liking something like Star Wars or superheroes.
I got made fun of for liking Power Rangers. I'm not even lying.
Well, there you go. Right? But then all of a sudden, because it's becoming more mainstream and everybody starts to join in, suddenly you, the person that's been here since the beginning, doesn't matter. There's a cycle to it. You have a popular brand or a popular fandom. You move on to the next part of the cycle, where it starts to become more mainstream, more people are coming in. Then you get to the third cycle, where the original people that were in step one start complaining about the quality, and rightfully so. And you get to the fourth bit. Well, part of the third bit. Let me rephrase that. To where you start complaining. All these people are joining in. You complain. They decide to say, oh, well, if you don't like it, go start your own club.
This wasn't made for you.
Next part of the cycle, you do. You move on. Because the franchise you love is burning in flames in the background. So you say, fine, I'll go start my own thing. And then we go back to the cycle repeating. You have a popular thing that not too many people are into. It starts getting popular, and then you get where I'm going. The point is, the market is appealing to like a very widespread audience. The problem is you have subgenres of film and entertainment in general for a reason. You can't sit there and tell me that a majority of women are going to like Marvel or Star Wars for that matter. That ain't going to happen. And they're forcing it. They're trying to force it. They're turning what was a boys brand that could appeal to anybody into a girls brand that appeals to no one. Nobody's watching it, but it's the fans' fault. You know, the people that were there from the beginning that got made fun of for liking the stuff in the first place. It's their fault because they're racist, they're sexist, blah, blah, blah. And the thing is, it's like nobody was complaining about diversity as much back in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s when, it was fairly common.
Mm-hmm.
All things considered. People weren't complaining about
these losers turn it into their own vanity project.
Yeah. I mean, do we have to revisit Ghostbusters 2016? I mean, who asked for a all-female cast? Now, I mean, that isn't inherently the problem, per se.
It certainly doesn't help.
Yeah, it's just, it's the handling of it was... It was in the height of the American elections, so people wanted to get their political opinions out on film for some reason. And if you didn't like it, well, you're part of the problem.
Yep. I mean, again, they put the fucking identity shit in the forefront again. And then they want the people who obsess over that to be their audience. Why them, though? I mean, they're just going to fucking complain no matter what you do for them. Like, that's why we say it doesn't appeal to anyone anymore, because the people you're trying to appeal to cannot be pleased because they won't stop complaining. There's not enough diversity there. There's not enough representation there. Kind of like what we're seeing with this whole Doomsday cast. So they try and make it as diverse as possible with no regard to, real three-dimensional characters, any compelling story. Nah, we got this and that. Everything that they could do that's even remotely competent can be face value. Like, so what? The Acolyte had a couple decent lightsaber fights. So? That doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, considering that I'm kind of sick of seeing lightsabers in every single frame when it comes to Star Wars anymore. I mean, look at Andor. That's turned out to be more positive in terms of reception. And then there's not a single lightsaber in sight in that show. Not one. So, again, the oversaturation, it's not like it's everywhere. And people or waking up and seeing, okay, you're giving us too much of the shit that we like, but give us too much, we won't care for it anymore. Think of it this way. You like fast food? Do you want to eat it every day, though? No, you don't. I sure as hell don't, and I love fast food. I'm just saying, keep that to the minimum while I enjoy the real good stuff. That's more that I would hold to a higher standard. And I'm not saying I hold these franchises to a low standard, but if it's oversaturated, it loses the magic. Again, Star Wars used to be an event. Now it's just content. That's all it is. To go from this cultural phenomenon that people just raved about for decades. And like, if there was something new coming out within like a few years after the last one, the excitement went up again. Now it's just another one every couple of months, and now it's nauseating. And the same can be said about Marvel. So many of these franchises, man. Oversaturation is not a good way to. It's not a good business model. It's greed, but the regard for quality isn't there anymore. They want to get out as much as possible, as quick as possible, still turn a profit, but they don't know how to reach the audience anymore. And the audience they're trying to reach, they're the wrong people, man. I mean, if all they're going to do is bitch and complain that there isn't enough, boxes checked off in the DEI section there, like, you're barking up the wrong tree at this point.
Well, okay, let me ask you this then. Because there's an oversaturation of these franchises. What if the content was actually good? Because there's one factor that's not being touched on. It's that it's not merely that we're getting too much. We're getting too much garbage.
But even the more garbage we get, people are going to begin losing their faith. Like, and that's where I am with Star Wars. Like, you can make something that might be promising, but I will have my skepticism. Like, I don't know. Because you can hit a point so low where that optimism is just dead. You're not getting it back. Like, I have no faith in the MCU reaching the same heights that it did in the mid 2010s. Like, that's not going to happen. Okay. I mean, Endgame for a time was the highest grossing movie of all time. Are we going to see any future MCU projects of that magnitude again? I don't think so.
Probably not in our lifetime.
And with this oversaturation of mediocre to bad content just being just laid out every time you turn around, the interest is gone. And, like, look at this. The Fantastic Four. Like, normally, like, maybe, let's say 2017. If this was happening in 2017, it would have been insane. Like, holy shit. Marvel Studios, they finally got the rights to the Fantastic Four. We're finally going to see Marvel's first family done justice this time. And back then, it would have been eventful. It's the Fantastic Four. I may not be the biggest fan, but I know how important they're a milestone for Marvel. But it came out this year where people are fed up with two things. These lackluster quality you're getting out of the MCU as of late, and Pedro Pascal. You got those two things together. And while the movie garnered decent reviews, it didn't perform as well as they expected.
Neither did Superman. That's the funny thing. It's like the superhero genre is kind of like, it's lost its relevance in many ways.
Well, again, they're too formulaic and repetitive at this point. It's just nothing we haven't seen before. It's like, I don't need this. Like, it's shit. What's that saying? No. It's same dog, old tricks, or new dog, same tricks. That's what it is. Like, okay, you go from Superman to Fantastic Four. Again, new dog, same tricks. That's how it's been with superhero movies nowadays. I mean, again, I know you don't love it the way I do. That's still why I still praise the shit out of the Batman, because it took a risk of being something completely different from what we're getting nowadays. It's not going to be some big spectacle. I mean, they do kind of go there in the third act, but for the most part, it was a detective story.
Yeah.
And that's what I find so interesting, and why I'm more interested in that than James Gunn's DC universe, if that's going to continue, or the MCU. And it's not just because I'm a Bat fan. There's just I have more intrigue in that universe than anything else. And they're seeing more success with the Penguin show, which, again, it's a spinoff, and it's pretty good. I do like that show. I haven't finished it, but
I guess something that could be said about these films is that they have to evolve into like different, like take a risk with different subgenres. Like, okay, so this is something we've talked about before, me and J-Man, with Terminator, for example.
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems with the Terminator franchise is that every film post T2, with the exception of Salvation, is just the same formula as T2.
Yeah.
And the franchise can't move on from that. This is all you are. It is a T2 clone. Yet we have discussed, taking the franchise into a different direction. Give us, for example, a straight up war movie like Saving Private Ryan or Pearl Harbor, but Terminator, set in the future war. Or go in the horror route, this sort of slasher route that the franchise kind of started in.
Right.
Do like The Thing, but with Terminators, where you got one infiltrator and no means to detect said infiltrator, and it's killing people one at a time. You're trying to figure out who's the Terminator, right? Like, to keep the franchise fresh, which is why something like Badlands should have worked, because at that point we hadn't got a Predator movie that was told from the perspective of the Predator, which means that they had every opportunity to do this thing right. But instead, we got Marvel humor, an annoying character, and the demasculinization of the male character and the male characters in the entire film. Because if you think about it, Elle Fanning's character, the villain of the story, like, she was the ringleader of all the male synthetics, who all got their asses kicked relatively easily by a female robot's legs. The legs got their own spotlight versus a full intact synthetic.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to just clap and enjoy that. Meanwhile, the Predator gets sidelined and humiliated in his own film. I know I'm going back to Predator, but the point is, these franchises have to innovate. They just shouldn't innovate to the point where they're no longer recognizable with the franchise that they're in. Because let me ask you this. Do you want to see a Star Wars movie with a romantic comedy mixed in?
No.
You definitely don't want to see a Predator movie with that, right?
No.
There are certain genres that can work together.
Mm-hmm.
Rom-coms and sci-fi action and sci-fi horror.
No. Now, just to kind of play a little more into what you were just saying. You know what I wouldn't mind? Well, first thing to know is that there's also the trust from the audience to the creatives. I'm using that term somewhat loosely, but sometimes when you hear who's in charge of this and you know a little more about them, like, the Acolyte, it's in the hands of former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein. And nobody has any faith in Dave Filoni or Jon Favreau anymore when it comes to Star Wars.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to wonder. But hypothetically speaking, what if, now, under Disney, I mean, there's no hope, but just picture this. Robert Eggers makes a Star Wars movie, and it's a horror movie centered around Nihilus. Now, the idea gives me some intrigue. Because Nihilus, he's a scary fucking character. Like, that video that I sent you with Kreia narrating everything about this guy set to that very eerie music, it's like, just imagine Robert Eggers making a movie with that character in the Star Wars universe, and it's horror. Like, honestly, the scariest thing we've ever gotten in Star Wars that comes close to horror is Vader lighting up a hallway.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of stories in the expanded universe that dive into horror. You have Abeloth, you have the Death Troopers, not the Disney ones. I'm talking straight up Star Wars zombies. But these zombies became more dangerous because they originated on a Sith planet. So there's some dark side magic going on there. But they eventually evolved from the typical shambling zombies to being intelligent enough to use weapons, operate vehicles, doors. Like, they became more intelligent. They weren't just mindless zombies. They were evolving into a dangerous creature, species, subspecies, whatever, that can still infect you, and the whole zombie story, but with more intelligent creatures. So Star Wars had its toes dipped in horror, yet that's something we don't really see with the films. The only thing you have to ask yourself is, okay, so what is the future of the franchise? Because, on the one hand, it's like, do we do another trilogy? I mean, you could, but, could it also be side stories? But if we do side stories, we're just getting the Disney Plus things, aren't we?
Yeah.
But is that the problem? Because, again, I feel like if these things had some quality to it, while having that proper spacing in between, because moderation, right? Then maybe we wouldn't be looking at these D plus shows in such a negative light. Like, if we treated the Disney Plus shows the way we treated the Star Wars films in the past, where there was substantial spacing between the releases, maybe there might be something to it, right? I know, like with TV, it's a bit different because Stranger Things season 5. When did Stranger Things start? The kids aren't kids anymore. We have 5 seasons, and there was substantial spacing between them. And at first, yeah, everybody was hyped about Stranger Things. It was the best thing ever at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yet we had the spacing, and yet look what happened there. I mean, people aren't as excited for Stranger Things. I mean, this is the final season, so there's a bit more hype to it, but I mean, come on. Can you really say it's like, oh yeah, Stranger Things is coming out again? It's like, well, when was the last one? Like 2 years ago? I can't remember.
I think it was even more than that.
Probably.
Probably 3. I don't know.
The point is, we have to, there has to be a balance. There is a balance with the spectacle, the quality of the content. There's so much that goes into these things. And there is very little consideration being taken with this stuff, because otherwise, if these things were good, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about how bad things have gotten. Like, people still try and praise the sequel trilogy as something that was amazing, that, oh, it was hated just like it was in the prequel era, but as time goes along, then it'll get better. We are approaching. Actually, we've already surpassed it, haven't we? 2015. We're in it right now. At this point, right now, 10 years ago, The Force Awakens was going to get released.
Yeah.
Are people talking about its 10th anniversary? Like we're talking about Revenge of the Sith?
No, even that. The 20-year anniversary for Revenge of the Sith felt like an event. People were talking about it. People were raving about it. You have a fucking promo starring Hayden Christensen. So, like, again, the new renaissance of the prequel trilogy. I can't see that happening with the sequels because I don't know. I think people saw how much bullshit there was there. And I noticed this even 10 years ago. A lot of the stuff that I initially could have praised back then, I look at it now, it's like, no, what they're doing here is reactionary to criticisms of the prequel trilogy. Oh, look, the characters aren't so stoic monks now. We got humor. You got practical sets. I mean, I'll praise the practical sets and location shooting over green screen or whatever, but it's reactionary. And that's how they chose to pave the way, at least at first. It might have worked, but once the cracks show, the mask comes off. It's like you're just making sure that it's nothing like what came before that was criticized. And look what happens now. People are looking more fondly at the prequels than the sequels.
Yeah. Let me address some of Carter's comments because I know he's been sending in quite a few. What in the ever loving fuck is Disney thinking doing a live action adaptation of Moana? Even The Rock is playing Maui in real life. I mean, at this point, does anyone? Okay, that's not fair. I can't say that nobody cares about live action Moana. I'm sure that there's some, children out there that are like, "Oh my god, my favorite Disney princess is getting a live action movie." And like, what can I say? I'm not a fan.
Yeah, but
I don't
you
care.
also got to consider the Disney adults. Yeah.
Good point. Because ultimately, it's them taking their kids to see it, right? It's like, why watch live action?
Whoa. Are you insinuating that they have kids?
Oh,
I mean, that
right.
might be a stretch. I mean,
right.
you see people go to Disney World who are like fucking 26 who are crying when they see someone dressed like Winnie the Pooh. Now, maybe a part of me can feel some kind of sympathy and say, okay, maybe you were robbed of your childhood or something, so maybe this is special to you. That may be so, but all I see is greedy consumers now.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, having to balance out being a fan of these things from when I was a kid. I mean, I'm not gonna be ashamed of it. Like, I still like Legos, even though I don't really have much of Legos anymore. But I still look fondly on playing the Lego Star Wars games or any of the Lego games before the Lego characters started talking.
It was much more charming when they just
Yeah.
like Lego Star Wars. You don't hear Vader say, "I am your father." He pulls out a family photo and goes, like, that's funny.
Plus, I think it's bizarre that Gara Zeb Aurelios from Star Wars Rebels is going to be in The Mandalorian and Grogu. Just why? He's my favorite character. Zeb, a character that is based off of the original design for Chewbacca. Yeah.
Okay.
You'd have to just look it up yourself if you
I don't
feel
wanna.
so inclined.
I don't want to. I think I get the picture.
Well, just confirmation that the show writers for Percy Jackson are going to be doing a Power Rangers reboot. For fuck's sake, another franchise is in danger.
Listen, Power Rangers kind of already in danger. I mean, whatever that new series they're developing is, that looks pretty bad. I don't know. I mean, I focus only on the Power Ranger stuff that I know. Like, the stuff I have literally sitting right here on my shelf. The golden age of Power Rangers.
Well, since we're on the topic of Golden Age, let's talk about Zelda.
Oh, yay.
Now, look, full disclosure, I'm not really much of a Legend of Zelda fan. That being said, I can respect the impact that the Legend of Zelda series has had on gaming.
Oh,
I mean, Link is a very popular character. Zelda, the princess. I haven't played pretty much any of the games, so you'll have to forgive me. But seeing the meltdown, and
Oh boy.
this is something that we can talk about in the larger scope of identity politics once again, but we'll talk about it here. That people freaking out that Zelda is actually being cast or played by an actual woman, female.
And not a confused one. Like this Hunter Schafer, whatever he or she is. I mean, he or she was in that movie Cuckoo.
That's a dude. All right, let's not mince words here. That is a dude that is committing what I like to call feminine appropriation.
Yeah.
Of course, you got Peter Griffin there vomiting, because that was my reaction. It's like, oh, okay. People were pointing out, oh yeah, there's some pictures of Hunter that looks just like Zelda. He would be perfect. Except, you're advocating for a man to take a woman's job.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the feminists for this? You know what I mean? Like, you're going to sit there and tell me that a biological male counts as a woman, and you're not going to say anything about it? Like, where are you guys at for any of this?
I really don't know. Like, let me put it to you this way. Like, notorious, known for hocus pocus and having a severe case of TDS. I do remember when Bette Midler actually did put something on Twitter where, I don't care much for her and her politics, obviously, but she did say, I am a woman, not a birthing person. It's like, that's a very respectful way of saying, I respect what she says there. I really do. But where is that when it comes to this, where someone who's only claiming, appropriating femininity, like you put it, taking over a role that is tailor-made for a woman? Like, if Hunter Schafer committed to what he really is, maybe he could have been Link. But I don't want to stretch it. But
the guy that got to play Link looks pretty good in the costume.
Well, and so is this lady playing Zelda. They both look fine for the part. And I hope this movie's good. I do like the Legend of Zelda games. I have quite a bit of them in my collection. I've played Ocarina of Time. I've replayed it so many times in my life. Like anytime you hear best video game of all time, you're going to hear that in the conversation.
Mm.
Like, has it earned its spot there? Absolutely. But yeah, this is one of the biggest game franchises out there. Like, especially from Nintendo. They already had their home run with the first Super Mario movie. I'm not really talking about critical reception. Because at this point, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And now they got their sequel coming out, which I'm excited for. And now Legend of Zelda. Now they've got something on the way. Maybe something that may have been predicted by the Unusual Suspect 10 years ago. There was a time where video game movies were not so revered because, every Uwe Boll movie, Mortal Kombat, Annihilation, those Resident Evil movies, Doom Annihilation, these movies are fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But could it be possible? Because superhero movies hit their low point in the late 90s for a bit with Batman and Robin, Steel. You had some more in the 2000s like Catwoman. But then eventually they became the biggest blockbusters you could put out there. And he did say that there is hope for the future when it comes to video game movies. And I'd say he was right. Look at what happened with Sonic. First trailer drops, everyone was like, the fuck is this shit? Everyone looked at that design and said, that looks fucking horrific. And the director, instead of, acting like Leslie Headland over there and saying that, you're all just a bunch of snake oil salesmen, doing all the buzzword name calling that we're just so numb to at this point. Used to, not necessarily numb because, I'm still irritated.
Yeah.
But, he didn't do that. He said, okay. We hear you. We got the time. We got the money. We'll push it back. We'll fix that. And again, that's a very respectable move. I mean, not only as someone who actually wants to make something good for the audience to enjoy, but also it was a good business move. I mean, look what happened. It was a box office success, and then it got sequels, which, as far as reception's concerned, it's gotten better. And now people have had this new sense of hope. Like, can we get more good video game movies like this? And then the Super Mario movie comes out, and it did what it set out to do, and it was enjoyed by the fans, myself included. And now Legend of Zelda has thrown their hat into the ring there, which I'm excited for. But, and then someone somewhere had to fucking say, hey, they should do this to fit our twisted narrative that, like, hey, someone who's a biological male but appropriates femininity can play Zelda. No. And it was fun to see that shit unfold on Twitter, especially when I just want to bring it up. I know I think I mentioned it, but someone said, you know what you could do? Cast a real woman and then insert picture of Anya. It's like, realistically, I think, I'm not even just saying this, she could have been a good Zelda. She really could have. But she's Peach. So I'll take it.
Fair enough. You know what? It's okay. I'm going back to Predator again, but I would love to see an adaptation of Concrete Jungle as a live action film, because that game was so good in spanning across two, not decades, but time periods, set during the 1920s and 30s, and then jumping into the future that's like more cyberpunk. If we get video game movie adaptations, I'd love to see that story come to the big screen. Personally, I mean, shoot, we didn't talk about these two mainly because they were forgettable to just downright stupid. They did a movie for Uncharted, which was a mistake, not because they did a live action adaptation, but because they decided to go with a younger Nathan Drake, played by a Marvel actor who just didn't fit the role of Nathan Drake. And then there was the even worse video game adaptation, the Minecraft movie. Garbage. Why would you make a movie out of Minecraft, of all things? It's not exactly known for its narratives. It's a game where you can build a lot of neat stuff. And you know what?
It's virtual Lego.
Yeah. Full credit to the people that spend literal months creating different worlds. Like, somebody had did Lord of the Rings, someone had did Attack on Titan, and it's like, dude, you spent months of your life into this and it looks excellent. So full credit to them for dedicating the time to create these things. That being said, why are we making a movie about Minecraft? It's like, no, there are more worthy games to make movies out of. Hell, I would love to see a live action movie of the Arkham Asylum.
But keep in mind, though, that's from a comic book IP, not
Right.
necessarily a video game. I mean, I get it. Like, that kind of narrative can possibly work in a movie. But I think when it comes to video game adaptations per se, they got to originate from a video game.
I mean, that's fair.
Like, I mean, I would kill for a Metroid movie if done right. I mean, people could say, just watch Aliens. I mean, yeah, I know. But there are others out there, like maybe some kind of, maybe you could do something with fucking F-Zero or some shit. Like, I'm mainly looking into Nintendo, but
yeah,
I mean, probably because, I'll be honest, I'd say if you were to make something like that, tonally it could feel like Marvel. Tonally it could, because it's lighthearted and it can appeal to a grander audience if done right, mind you. So don't get carried away. But maybe there's other game franchises that can maybe throw their hat into the ring. Like, I mean, I know they had their show on whatever streaming service it was, but Halo, maybe. Hey, we don't need to talk about
right?
it. Oh, no. Ask any Halo fan, and they'll tell you how much they fucked it up because he's not supposed to take off the helmet.
It's kind of like the Mandalorian of that aspect, right?
Or Judge Dredd. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? On the topic of video game,
Red Dead.
Well, here's one that probably shouldn't get its own movie, even though I don't know. Call of Duty. Call of Duty is getting their own movie. Or its own movie. I don't know. Like here's a personal choice, but maybe not. Do an adaptation of the Black Ops story. That one is very much like a thriller with spying and espionage and military shooting. You know, it could possibly work, but the question is, would you really want to? It's like, for example, do you want a Call of Duty Zombies movie? It's like, like, look, the the zombies mode started out as a very simple survival arcade shooter. Survive as long as you can, each wave increasing in difficulty. It did develop into a much larger narrative. But man, if you thought that Marvel's story was convoluted, the zombie storyline takes the convoluted in spades. There is so much in regards for hidden story elements, like in the actual maps, that you have to read to get more confirmation or details on things. Look, personally, I love the stuff, okay? You guys know us, at least me and Carter. I mean, we're Call of Duty Zombies guys. Okay, I've been with zombies since 2008. I was too young for it at the time, but I've been following it for that long. And we're going to be coming up on the 20-year anniversary of Call of Duty Zombies in like 2 years and some change. So that franchise has a legacy on its own, which is why a lot of times people wish that Call of Duty Zombies would branch from Call of Duty, not to change the name Call of Duty, like keep Call of Duty Zombies its own thing. But if Warzone can have its own BS, why can't Zombies? Because look, Black Ops 7 has not been received well as far as the multiplayer and especially the campaign. And this one is especially a gut punch because this game is serving as a direct sequel to Black Ops 2 from back in 2012. See, because Black Ops 2's campaign largely took place in the year 2025, this year, which means that Black Ops 2 is no longer a futuristic game. It's a modern game, which is scary. If you've never played the campaign for Call of Duty Black Ops 2, I highly recommend it. Highly. That being said, the campaign for Black Ops 7, like, you want to talk about dropping the ball? Like, let me ask you this. You're playing a single-player game. Like, here, you know what? Since we're in the season of it, you're playing Batman Arkham Origins. It's a single-player game. You're playing by yourself. How about we turn your single-player Batman game into a game that always requires an internet connection? Always. Just to play the campaign. Single player. And you can't pause.
So it's on Xbox One.
No. It's...
No. Just making a jab at back in the day when, if you don't connect the Xbox One to the internet within 24 hours, it shuts off. Like, remember that shit show?
I forgot about it, or maybe I never heard about it, but that's news to me. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I don't. PlayStation.
I see. But yeah, always online, which means if you're offline, you can't even play the campaign.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
And you can't pause the game either. You can't pause the single player campaign. Now, I need to remind you that was not always the case, obviously, because whether you're playing zombies by yourself or campaign by yourself, you pause the game, you pause the game. There's no timer, there's no 15-minute limit on being paused. That's what's in zombies right now. You can pause in zombies, but it's a 15-minute limit, and then the game saves your current game and quits, which is nice. Like, it used to be, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, that your pause timer was 15 minutes, and then the game would just unpause, and if you were in the middle of a zombie horde, you're dead. So at the very least, they innovated with their stupid no pausing in single player zombies. But aside from all of that BS, the mere fact that a single player campaign you can't even pause and you have to have a constant internet connection is ridiculous. The story itself is insulting and generic slop, especially because they brought back so many characters from Black Ops 2, and it's just it was a mess. And it reiterated a point that I had since post like Black Ops 2, that the only reason I play certain Call of Duties now is because of the zombies. Because the zombies is the one that draws the most attention as far as creatively speaking. People still play multiplayer because it's the generic slop. It's like, oh, play the next Call of Duty, the next generic shooter, whatever. But campaign, multiplayer, and zombies used to have much more of an appeal back in the golden days. Starting with the first Modern Warfare, World at War, Black Ops 2, MW2, MW3. These games, that was the golden age of COD. Despite the many issues that it had back then, but it kind of falls back in line with the overall like creative bankruptcy of the entertainment industry, that we keep going back to these old things because they either refuse to create new things because they don't have a proper creative bone in their bodies, or it can't appeal to the identity politics obsessed audience that won't even care about your stuff unless it doesn't have the check boxes.
Well, even then, that might be a stretch, because really they post about it, they tweet about it, and they put it on their TikTok videos, blah 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 blah. But
and then they act,
they don't really do anything. They don't financially support any of this stuff, but they expect you to do so.
Yeah, that's my point. It's like the market will appeal to these people, but then these people won't give love back. They're just there to make sure that it has diversity. It's like
they act like cheerleaders, but they're not accomplishing a goddamn thing, and they're contributing jack shit.
Like Grace Randolph complaining about the cast for Avengers Doomsday.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
I mean, just watching her reaction, it's like, you really are that dumb, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to sit there and tell me that, oh, there's not enough women in there. It's like, this franchise is male dominated, whether you like it or not, because not all women like Marvel superheroes. Why are you going to appeal mostly to women when most women don't give a shit?
Let me remind you, the majority of people who went and saw the Marvels, the lowest grossing Marvel movie, by the way, the majority of people who went and saw them were men. Even in a movie like The Marvels, where it's all female superheroes. So this whole identity politics thing, you're not rolling the dice in your favor at this point either. So what are you actually complaining about? I've said it before and I'll say it again. I've said it ad nauseum on this particular series. This obsession with identity will be their undoing. Because you're not helping the issue by complaining all the time. You're making it worse. You hold on to identity as the factor, but the more you hold on to it as said factor, you don't solve the issue. You just make it worse, because that's all you're drawing attention to. This is, what's that word? It's bigotry is what it is, because you're making it about, hey, does this person have this skin color? Hey, does this person have this genitalia? Hey, does this person like to do this with this person behind closed doors? Why are you hung up on that shit when it comes to superheroes? Don't you want them to be a little more compelling beyond anything that isn't just identity? Because those aren't the traits for a well-rounded character. It's just flat. It's shallow. Like, there's nothing. Again, but they checked off the boxes. So fucking what? You accomplished nothing in terms of creative integrity. You're just please fuckers who do nothing but complain on the internet for a living. I'm not even saying that as an exaggeration. They make a living off of this. Call them the grifters, if you will. Yeah, kind of hurts when I spin it and throw it right back at those who like to say RK is a grifter, Nerdrotic is a grifter, the drinker is a grifter. The quartering is okay. I don't like the quartering, but
Yeah.
still. The point is, you throw those buzz terms around, it could easily be thrown right back at you because you may be doing the same thing. What they're doing, you're just at the other extreme. Except I don't see Nerdrotic or the drinker or Geeks and Gamers or RK as grifters. They're just guys who see the problem of what's really going on here, kind of like what we're doing right now. And they're showing like, we're going to fucking talk about this because this shit needs to stop.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll have fun with it along the way. I mean, Gary, he looks like he has a blast doing this. And even from a video that RK did, I think it was today or yesterday, it was about same situation, what we're just talking about here. I think Gary really branded the term MCU.
Yeah.
And he should be getting royalties for that.
Right. Yeah. It's funny because I see a lot of people like throwing shade at all those guys. Like I'm not talking about like the social justice warriors. I'm talking about people that are like more maybe moderate or maybe think more like we do. I've seen it on Facebook a few times where like someone would call out like Critical Drinker for being too negative on things. It's like, look, dude, a lot of the shit being put out isn't good. Like you can like the stuff, but to say that it's good, there's a lot of popular franchises that have had modern installments that have ruined the brand. Okay. You can't sit there and tell me that anything put out from Star Wars or Marvel or DC or Doctor Who or any of these big franchises are good. Good elements, maybe, but good elements don't make an overall good movie if everything else is garbage.
No, there are movies out there that aren't even modern that I could say I overall don't like, but I could say, well, there's something I like there, but it's not enough. Like, take for example, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I don't like that movie. We covered it on the dumpster because it qualified. That being said, I said visually the movie looks all right. And I don't think I said this when we watched it, but one thing I do like in that movie in particular compared to the original is that I like the way the Chocolate Factory just kind of looms over the whole town like a castle.
Yeah.
Visually, it's pretty striking imagery. But that's why I expect something like that from Tim Burton. But that's just an element. That just because I say I like that doesn't mean I like the whole movie and say that it's a good movie because visually it looked good. So it's a good movie. No. Like I could see a bad movie with a good score, but still say it's a bad movie, like Mac and Me. But that's a so bad it's good movie. You can have a movie where many great talents get put to waste. And that shall remain nameless. Because if I go into it, well, this will just get even uglier than it has any business being.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I said bad things where good talent got wasted. You know what I'm talking about.
There you go. Last thing to cover, just real quick. Sydney Sweeney
Ah, yes. Jeans. Ouch. That hurt.
You good there? You doing okay?
Oh, just the way you said it like that, and I'm just staring at you like, well, kind of like what she's doing.
Oh, I see. Yeah, the new meme for us to use, the look of superiority, right?
It is the next template in that Anakin Padme meme. I mean, fuck, I could have made a meme just for bringing it to the discussion on the stream. I could have very well just, okay, interview lady. Enough time has passed for you to not talk about this on the War of Pop Culture, right? Right? Yeah. That interview, oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, Sydney Sweeney was a boss. The way she handled it. I mean, me personally, I probably would have just exploded. Like, listen, you sack of living bleep, bleep, bleep. But you know what? It was so much cooler to see her just that look. I mean, but just look at it. The I don't give a fuck. That is the look that she has. I do not care. Piss off.
Yeah. I mean, just as it's starting to happen, you could just see the blood draining from her face right there. It's like, like it's a mix of not giving a shit, but still looking a bit somewhat irritated. That, are we seriously talking about this? And like that interviewer like made her Twitter account like protected her tweets and shit.
Yeah, I would too if I put that embarrassing BS.
Well, it makes me wonder, what the fuck were you bringing that up for? Like, if it was so ridiculous, why talk about it? Like, just let it go.
Well, that's the thing that interviewers like to do, like news media coverage, like
Variety.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or the jackass that keeps talking like, "Oh, this is like the gayest project ever," or whatever.
Variety.
Yeah, there you go. It's like they have an obsession with identity politics for one. They want to get validation from actors and the franchises, and that's like the biggest thing.
It's like a rallying cry.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest gripes that I have with the modern audience. These people that like, okay, I found a post on Reddit in a Godzilla group where it was a picture that somebody had took of, I guess, a restaurant in Germany where it had Godzilla over a trans flag, and the caption said, "I knew Godzilla was an ally. I wanted to just start,
become a keyboard warrior."
Oh, I was tempted. I was very tempted, especially because it was Godzilla. Because I'm thinking to myself, you stupid cow. You redundant, simple-minded, low IQ prick. Shut up.
Validation. They're desperate.
Look,
well,
the term ally irritates me.
Oh, yeah.
It irritates me to know. It's like, oh, why can't you just be an ally? What do you mean an ally? You want me to get on my knees, kiss your boots, and say that you are the second coming of whatever god you worship? Is that what you want? Oh, no, we just want equality. You don't want equality. You want special treatment. You want protections. You want rights. Well, let me tell you something. Where I'm sending you, they have never even heard of rights.
Well, even with the whole Godzilla thing, let me just say this. I know this is no brainer, but Godzilla doesn't exactly discriminate. Just saying. Especially when it comes to human.
Oh, there goes Tokyo. Go, go, Godzilla. Sorry. Blue Oyster Cult Godzilla's.
Yeah. But regardless of that, again, with the whole interview thing, like, the way she tries to segue into that, like the so-called controversy, the way she's saying it too, it's like people say, "Oh, she was aware of how ridiculous it is. That's why she had the expressions that she did." That is a fucking mask if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Like, just trying to seem like, oh, don't worry, I'm still your friend here. I mean, come on. But would you like to talk about that, like, specifically? How many times did she say specifically in that sentence?
Yeah. She gives you a smile while backstabbing you.
Yeah. It's like, I'm just, come on, say you're sorry about how your ad implied that white people are superior. That wasn't the fucking case at all. Like, you took wordplay, spun it to get offended because there are people who are still dumb enough to think being outraged means you're morally correct. What did I see? I saw a pun. Like, oh, not jeans, but jeans. Like denim wear. Because that's what it is. It's a fucking denim commercial. You that decided, hey, let's use an objectively attractive woman that's attractive to the average man and use it to sell. Like, you could put Sydney Sweeney in a ladies razor commercial, and I guarantee the product will sell at that point. I mean, look at what happened with American Eagle. Their sales went up because of this fucking ad. And they take the bad publicity from these whiners. I wouldn't quite call it bad publicity. I'm saying that loosely. And they turn it into something positive because the majority of people who have common sense, like, no, this is ridiculous. Like, you are trying to compare this denim wear commercial to Nazi stuff.
Eugenics.
It's like, yeah, because this commercial is promoting how I don't see how this commercial is promoting to go out and discriminate against people who are different than you, because that's what the Nazis fucking did. What does that have to do with anything? And then they start grasping at straws, like, oh, her initials are SS. Is that a coincidence? Yes, it is. I mean, if you want to go with that route, you know who else has the initials SS? That mentally unstable singer called Sam Smith. Eh? I mean, how about this? My dad's initials are TV. Does that mean he's a television? Like, what the fuck kind of a logic was that?
Well,
But
see, here's the thing.
okay.
There are subliminal messages in marketing, in
Mm-hmm.
media. I mean, John Carpenter's They Live showed us a lot of that.
Yeah.
You listen to about 5 minutes of Alex Jones, you get that. Don't get me wrong. These things do exist. Conspiracies exist. There's shit that is real that people have never heard of because it's been intentionally hidden from the public, or it's hiding in plain sight and you're just too stupid not to see it.
It's like the greatest trick the devil ever pulled is convincing you he doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That being said, there's a larger thing at play here, and this circles back to what we've talked about ad nauseum about identity politics. It's anti-white, straight up anti-white sentiment, because Sydney Sweeney is a white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. The poster child, the template for, oh my God, she's a Nazi. She's white. She's got blonde hair and blue eyes, and her initials are SS. But you see, they like to dig into that and say there's conspiracy with that. But when you talk about actual conspiracies, oh, you're just a crackpot cuckoo conspiracy theorist that lives in their mother's basement.
Why don't you take off your tinfoil hat and look at things more objectively for a change?
You're a prick.
Yeah.
that is my reaction to these people that will look at Sydney Sweeney and say all that shit, because it's, again, repeating myself here, anti-white. You have a problem with white people because you look at history, you look at very specific events that happen and say, well, I'm not saying that all white people are Nazis, but all the Nazis were white. It's like, yeah, I can point out a specific event in history too and say, oh, yeah, not all Middle Eastern people are terrorists, but all the terrorists that did 9/11 were Middle Eastern. It's like,
right?
What kind of sense does that make? Sorry, I had to channel my inner nerd just a bit there.
Oh, no, I get you. But to the interview itself, it's like you were saying, though. She handled it like a pro and better than anyone else could have. Like, I mean, the long and short of her answer is just simply no. But she handled it more professionally, and I think she deserves credit for that. Like, just if there's an issue that I feel that needs to be discussed, then people will hear it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even care where you come from. I think that's a very respectable way of looking at it. Like, if there is a real issue that should be discussed, then we'll talk about it. But as far as this whole denim ad was concerned, there's nothing.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, we're going back to the good old days of sex sells.
Yeah. Seeing the oh god, who was it? I think it was Melanie Mack. See, you have to look at the other side of the coin too. And this isn't true of everybody that's on the right or anything left of Stalin, right? As Eric July likes to say. But I think Melanie Mack said that, well, she's still a whore or a prostitute or something like that because of the way she advertises her body. It's like, yeah, I can't remember how she said it, but it was one of the reasons why I stopped following her, because it got to a point where it's like you're being very heavy-handed with your religion. You think that you're absolutely right, and damn everybody else. And that's one of the reasons why I stepped away from the religion. Well, it's not the only reason. You do your research about the religions and you figure out that history and religion being manipulated is very they go hand in hand, and they're more common than you'd think. But that's another rabbit hole for another time.
Yeah.
The point is, people get so wound up in their dogmas and their religions, and they think they have the absolute authority. It's like, it's one of the reasons why I like to keep myself more centered, because on the one hand, I don't want us to be in the 1900s where a line in the Frankenstein film gets censored because it's considered sacrilegious for mentioning God the way it did. On the other hand, I don't want to be where we are right now, where we have shitty movies and identity politics ruining everything, because either one of those extremes is bad. There has to be a middle ground where it's like, okay, we're not going to be too strict on creativity, and at the same time, we're not going to be so loose that we forget our morals and standards.
Yeah.
Again, there's some people that I used to listen to. They're just like, they're on the more strict spectrum, and they think, oh well, yeah, Sydney Sweeney didn't do anything wrong in this aspect, but she's still a prostitute, and she should confess herself before God instead of showing off her body. It's like, okay,
shut the fuck up.
Harsh, but yeah, I'd probably, well, I can't say if I would be nicer in that aspect. It's just, we're going to start seeing that because identity politics is starting to lose its power very slowly, I might add. There's still plenty of it going around. It's just the moment that isn't as strong as it is, we're going to start going towards that right side, and suddenly,
the
no horror movies.
Swings.
Yeah, no horror movies, no nudity, no swearing, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, here we go again.
So it's going to be like that episode of Family Guy with the FCC. Just no movement whatsoever.
Oh, you can have sex, just no moaning, no kissing, no movement whatsoever. Well, this isn't very excited. I'm done. Good night, Lois. Yeah, pretty much. More or less.
Yeah.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. More on Pop Culture, episode 32. It's crazy that we're in 32 episodes of this. Getting ever closer to 40 episodes, starting 2 or 3 years ago at this point. Around this time, actually, I think one of our first episodes was centered around Christmas or close to it.
Something like that.
So, yeah. As far as what we got going on next, I mean, we are fastly approaching the end of 2025, which is insane.
I know.
Time's going by so fast these days. But provided everything is on schedule, next week we should be finishing off the Fantastic Beasts trilogy. After that, we'll let Carter mention that next week, provided everything is okay and we're all good to go. I was going to do a Predator Badlands video, but I've been so focused on the Dark Aetherverse that I just haven't had a lot of time to do anything else. That's why there hasn't been any videos. It's all just been live streams. I'd like to change that going into the new year, finding some time to actually make videos related to these different topics, war and pop culture, things of that nature, movie reviews. It's going to be part and parcel, but there's so many projects that I'd like to continue or start. Again, it's pretty much a meme at this point, the Dark Fate review series.
Yeah.
Eventually, that's all I can say. Eventually, I'll get back to it. Once I'm in a bit more of a Terminator mood, and provided I'm not working too much on the Dark Aetherverse, take a longer vacation, if you will. We can start seeing more of those videos crop up. But until then, live streams in the Dark Aetherverse to look forward to. That's what we got. Sadly, we're not going to have a big finale for the end of this year. We were initially aiming for the final Friday for us to do a live stream because, I'm not expecting everyone here to come on the channel after Christmas. Everybody's going to be enjoying time with their families, so we can't do any scheduled streams on the day after Christmas.
Boxing Day.
Yeah. So December 19th is the final Friday. That will be the final live stream of 2025. I wish I could say that we had a big finale, the big finale that I have planned for this season of the Dark Aetherverse, but that isn't going to happen. So it's going to be business as usual for the time being. Of course, we'll talk more about it as we get closer to that time. But yeah, for now, we got not War and Pop Culture. Fantastic Beasts 3, and whatever is next after Fantastic Beasts 3 for Special Agent Carter Sauce's season of the Witch. And then after that, well, who knows? We'll see what happens next in the story. A special thank you to Carter for stopping in tonight, despite all the family issues he has going on. You're a trooper. And we have you in our thoughts and prayers. So, with that all being said, thank you all for watching, listening, and supporting. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, remember that the entertainment is out there. I'm Special Agent Spooky Clutter.
I'm Special Agent Carter Sauce.
Special Agent Dr. Richtofen.
And until next time, fellow investigators, remember.
The entertainment.
The entertainment.
The entertainment.
The entertainment.
The entertainment.
The entertainment is out there.